South Carolina is often called one of the most haunted states in the United States, where history and ghost stories walk hand in hand. With its old plantations, historic battlefields, and centuries-old graveyards, the state carries memories of war, tragedy, and lost souls. Many visitors and locals believe the spirits of the past still linger, making South Carolina a land full of mystery and fear. From haunted mansions to ghostly soldiers, every corner seems to hold a chilling tale. This mix of history and the supernatural makes South Carolina a true hotspot for paranormal activity in America. Let's talk about the most haunted places in South Carolina. Number 1. Poogan's Porch in Charleston, South Carolina, is not only known for its food but also for its chilling ghost stories that have made it one of the most haunted restaurants in the state. The building was once a Victorian-style home built in the late 1800s, and even though it later became a popular dining place, its past has left behind restless spirits that many believe still linger inside. The restaurant is named after Poogan, a friendly little dog who once lived there and greeted visitors. While Poogan's story is heartwarming, the tales of human spirits connected to the house are far more terrifying. The most famous ghost said to haunt Poogan's porch is Zoe St. Almond, a former schoolteacher who lived in the house with her sister. After her sister's death, Zoe was left heartbroken and became withdrawn. Many claim that her spirit never left the house she loved. Diners and staff often report seeing her ghostly figure in a long dress gazing out from the upstairs windows. Others say they have felt her presence close by, like a sudden chill, a whisper in the air, or a cold touch on the shoulder when no one is there. Some visitors have seen Zoe wandering through the dining rooms before disappearing into thin air, while staff members tell stories of footsteps echoing on empty staircases, chairs moving on their own, and glassware shattering for no reason. With its mix of history, heartbreak, and unexplained activity, Poogan's Porch continues to be remembered as Charleston's most haunted restaurant, where every meal may come with a ghostly encounter. Number 2. The South Carolina State Museum in Columbia is filled with history, culture, and science. But behind its exhibits lies a darker side that has earned it a reputation as one of the most haunted places in the state. The museum is housed in a massive building that was once a textile mill in the 19th century. With years of hard labor, accidents, and even deaths tied to its past, many believe the spirits of former workers never left. Visitors and staff often share chilling experiences that suggest the building is still alive with ghostly energy. One of the most terrifying stories comes from security guards who work late at night. They claim to hear footsteps echoing through the empty halls, even though no one is there. Some have reported seeing shadowy figures darting between exhibits, vanishing when approached. Strange knocking sounds, flickering lights, and cold spots add to the unsettling feeling that the museum is haunted. Perhaps the most famous ghost story is of a man believed to be a former mill worker. He has been spotted on the old staircases, dressed in outdated clothes, only to disappear when someone gets closer. Some staff members also speak of machines turning on by themselves and the sound of distant voices, as if workers from the past are still at their stations. With so many unexplained events and eerie encounters, the South Carolina State Museum is more than just a place of learning. It is also a place where history refuses to rest, making it one of the most haunted sites in South Carolina. Number 3. The old Charleston Jail in Charleston, South Carolina, is one of the most chilling and haunted places in the entire state. Built in 1802, it housed some of the city's most dangerous criminals, pirates, Civil War prisoners, and even innocent people accused of crimes. Its dark past includes overcrowding, brutal punishments, and many deaths within its stone walls. Today, although no longer in use as a jail, the building is believed to still hold the spirits of those who suffered and died there, making it a terrifying hotspot for ghost stories and paranormal activity. Visitors often report hearing strange noises echoing through the crumbling halls, such as heavy footsteps, rattling chains, and ghostly whispers in the dark. Many people describe feeling watched or touched by unseen hands. Tour guides and paranormal investigators have captured unexplained shadows and voices on recordings, suggesting that the spirits are still active inside. One of the most infamous ghosts said to haunt the jail is Lavinia Fisher, known as America's first female serial killer. She and her husband were executed in the early 1800s, and her spirit is said to linger, terrifying those who enter. People claim to see her shadowy figure, hear her screams, or feel her presence in the old cells. With its terrifying history of suffering, executions, and restless souls, the old Charleston jail is not just a historic landmark, but one of South Carolina's most haunted places. Every visitor leaves with chills, and many believe the spirits inside will never truly find peace. Number 4. Pawleys Island in South Carolina is known as a peaceful beach town, but behind its beauty lies a reputation for being one of the most haunted places in the state. The island has a long history that stretches back to the 1700s, and with that history comes tragic stories, restless spirits, and eerie legends that continue to draw ghost hunters and curious visitors. It is a place where the past seems to live on, and many believe the spirits that haunt the island are as much a part of its character as the sand and sea. The most famous legend is that of the Gray Man, a ghostly figure who appears on the beach before major storms or hurricanes. Locals say that anyone who sees him is spared from the worst of the destruction. Sightings of this mysterious spirit go back more than 200 years, and even today, many claim to have seen him warning them of danger. Another chilling story tied to Pawleys Island is the tale of Alice Flagg, a young woman who died tragically after being forbidden to marry the man she loved. She was buried with her engagement ring hidden on a ribbon around her neck, but when her family discovered it, they removed it in anger. Today, visitors at her grave in All Saints Cemetery report seeing her ghost searching endlessly for her lost ring. With its ghostly warnings, tragic love stories, and eerie encounters, Pawleys Island is more than just a beach getaway. It is a place where spirits still roam, reminding visitors that the past is never far away. Number 5. Springwood Cemetery in Greenville, South Carolina, is one of the oldest and most haunted burial grounds in the state. Established in the early 1800s, it is the final resting place for thousands of people, including soldiers, politicians, and everyday citizens. With so much history and so many lives laid to rest, it is no surprise that many believe the cemetery is filled with restless spirits. Visitors often describe it as a place where silence feels heavy, and the air itself carries a sense of mystery and sorrow. Over the years, countless ghostly encounters have been reported within Springwood Cemetery. Some people claim to see shadowy figures wandering among the tombstones at night, vanishing the moment they are approached. Others speak of glowing lights floating between the graves, believed to be the spirits of those who cannot find peace. Strange whispers, sudden cold chills, and the sound of footsteps on empty paths are also commonly reported. One of the most famous legends involves ghostly soldiers from the Civil War. Many say they still march through the cemetery, guarding the graves of their fallen comrades. Others have seen women in old-fashioned clothing kneeling at graves, only to disappear when noticed. Paranormal investigators often capture mysterious voices and unexplained images, strengthening the belief that this cemetery is alive with spiritual activity. With its tragic history, eerie atmosphere, and endless ghost stories, Springwood Cemetery is more than just a burial ground. It is one of South Carolina's most haunted places, where the dead seem to rise from their rest to remind the living of their presence. Number 6. Rose Hill Plantation in Union, South Carolina, is a beautiful historic estate, but behind its charm lies a reputation as one of the most haunted places in the state. Built in the early 1800s, it was once the home of William Henry Gist, the governor who helped lead South Carolina into secession before the Civil War. The Grand House, its surrounding grounds, and the stories tied to the people who lived and worked there have created an atmosphere where the past never seems to rest. Many visitors believe the spirits of those who suffered during its history still wander the plantation. Guests who tour the estate often describe eerie feelings as soon as they enter the old house. Some report hearing footsteps on the wooden floors when no one else is near, while others have heard faint voices and whispers echoing through the empty rooms. Paranormal investigators have claimed to capture strange images and unexplained sounds, adding to the belief that Rose Hill is alive with ghostly energy. One of the most chilling tales involves the spirits of enslaved people who once worked the plantation. Many visitors say they have felt sudden cold spots on the grounds, heard cries in the distance, and even seen shadowy figures moving through the fields. Some also believe that Governor Gist himself has never left, with claims of his ghost still wandering the halls of his beloved estate. With its mix of beauty, tragedy, and chilling encounters, Rose Hill Plantation stands as more than a piece of history. It is a place where echoes of the past still haunt the present, making it one of South Carolina's most haunted sites. Number 7. Crybaby Bridge in Anderson, South Carolina, is one of the most frightening and well-known haunted spots in the state. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary old bridge tucked away in a quiet area, but locals know it as a place filled with chilling legends and terrifying stories. For decades, people have claimed to experience strange and unexplained events on this bridge, especially at night when the air seems heavy with mystery. The most famous legend tells of a mother who, in a tragic act, threw her baby from the bridge. Ever since, people say the spirit of the infant has never left. Visitors often report hearing the sound of a baby crying beneath the bridge, even though no child is there. The cries are said to grow louder the longer you stay, sending chills through anyone brave enough to listen. Some have claimed to see ghostly figures of a woman in white roaming near the bridge, believed to be the grief-stricken mother still searching for her lost child. Others tell of sudden cold spots, car engines stalling, and strange handprints appearing on vehicles after parking on the bridge at night. Over the years, the site has drawn ghost hunters, thrill seekers, and skeptics, yet the stories remain consistent. Many leave convinced that something supernatural lingers there, whether it is the sound of the cries, the eerie silence that follows, or the strange shadows moving in the darkness. Crybaby Bridge continues to be one of South Carolina's most haunted places, a location where tragedy and the paranormal come together in unforgettable ways. Number 8. The Blind Tiger Pub in Charleston, South Carolina, may be a lively spot today, but its haunted history makes it one of the most chilling places in the city. The building dates back to the 1800s and has served many purposes over the years, including a speakeasy during Prohibition. With its long past of secrecy, crime, and hidden gatherings, the walls of this old pub are said to hold the energy of restless spirits. Many who visit claim that the building is alive with ghostly activity, where the line between history and the supernatural is often blurred. Staff members and guests alike have reported strange and terrifying experiences inside. Some tell of seeing shadowy figures moving through the pub late at night when no one else is there. Others have heard disembodied voices whispering in the dark, glasses clinking on their own, and the unmistakable sound of footsteps pacing across the wooden floors. Many visitors have also described sudden cold spots and the unnerving feeling of being watched closely by unseen eyes. One of the most frightening tales involves a ghostly woman dressed in old-fashioned clothing who is often spotted near the bar. She is believed to be the spirit of someone tied to the building's secret past, perhaps a woman who lost her life there long ago. Paranormal investigators have captured strange photos, unexplained sounds, and eerie movements that strengthen the belief that the pub is haunted. With its lively atmosphere mixed with terrifying ghost stories, the Blind Tiger Pub is not just a place to enjoy a drink, but also one of South Carolina's most haunted locations, where spirits seem to linger with every visitor. Number 9. The South Carolina State Hospital in Columbia is one of the most unsettling and haunted places in the state. Opened in the early 1800s, it was one of the first mental health institutions in America. While it was built with the hope of providing care, over the years it became known for overcrowding, neglect, and mistreatment of patients. Many people spent their final days there in terrible conditions, and with so much pain and tragedy tied to the hospital, it is no surprise that many believe the spirits of the past still haunt its abandoned halls. Visitors and former workers have told chilling stories of ghostly activity throughout the hospital grounds. Strange footsteps echo down long, empty corridors, doors slam shut without warning, and shadowy figures have been seen standing in dark corners before vanishing. Some people report hearing distant screams and cries, as if the voices of former patients remain trapped inside. Cold spots, flickering lights, and sudden feelings of dread are also common experiences for those who dare to enter. One of the most terrifying stories is of a ghostly nurse who is said to wander the halls, appearing suddenly before disappearing into the walls. Others speak of patient spirits, still restless from their suffering, roaming the building at night. Paranormal investigators have captured unexplained voices and chilling images, strengthening the belief that the hospital is truly haunted. Today, the South Carolina State Hospital stands as both a reminder of medical history and a hotspot for the supernatural. Its dark past has left behind more than memories, making it one of the most haunted places in South Carolina, where the cries of the forgotten still linger. Number 10. The Pink House in Charleston, South Carolina, is one of the city's oldest and most mysterious buildings, and many believe it is also one of the most haunted. Built in the late 1600s from pink Bermuda stone, it has stood through centuries of history, surviving wars, pirates, and countless storms. While it looks charming and historic from the outside, its long past is filled with strange stories and eerie events that continue to make visitors uneasy. The Pink House has served as a tavern, a brothel, and a private residence, and with so many lives passing through its doors, it is no surprise that restless spirits are said to remain. Locals and tourists alike have reported seeing ghostly figures in the windows, even when the building is closed and empty. Some claim to hear voices and laughter from another time, as though the spirits of sailors and tavern-goers are still enjoying their drinks inside. Others have described seeing a woman in old-fashioned clothing wandering near the house before disappearing into thin air. Paranormal investigators who have visited the site report sudden cold spots, unexplained lights, and strange sounds that cannot be explained. One of the most chilling tales connected to the Pink House is that of pirates who once visited the tavern. Some believe their spirits linger, guarding hidden treasures or simply refusing to leave the place where they once found joy. Guests often describe the feeling of being watched closely, especially at night, and some even leave early out of fear. With its mix of history, legends, and terrifying encounters, the Pink House stands not just as a historic landmark, but as one of Charleston's most haunted places, where the past still makes its presence known. Number 11. The University of South Carolina in Columbia is best known for its history, tradition, and academic excellence, but many also call it one of the most haunted places in the state. Founded in 1801, the campus is filled with old buildings, dark legends, and stories of restless spirits that have been passed down for generations. With more than 2 centuries of history, it is no surprise that students, faculty, and visitors have reported chilling encounters that suggest the university is alive with ghostly activity. One of the most famous haunted spots is the South Caroliniana Library, where people claim to see shadowy figures moving between the shelves. Strange whispers, flickering lights, and the feeling of being watched are often reported. Another location tied to hauntings is the Longstreet Theater, which was once a Civil War hospital. Visitors say the spirits of soldiers who died there still wander the halls, with some even reporting the sound of moaning or the sight of ghostly figures dressed in old uniforms. The De Saussure College building is another place known for paranormal activity. Students have reported doors opening and closing on their own and hearing footsteps in empty hallways late at night. Some also claim to have seen the ghost of a young woman roaming the campus, believed to be a tragic figure from the university's past. With its deep history and countless ghost stories, the University of South Carolina is more than just a place of learning. It is a campus where the past refuses to rest, and the spirits of those who came before seem to linger, reminding everyone that history is never truly gone. Number 12. The Old Exchange and Provost Dungeon in Charleston, South Carolina, is one of the most haunted places in the state, a building where history and the supernatural come together in terrifying ways. Built in 1771, it has served many roles over the centuries, including a meeting place for revolutionaries and a prison during the American Revolution. Beneath the Grand Hall lies the Provost Dungeon, a dark, damp space where pirates, prisoners of war, and criminals were once held. The suffering that took place in those underground chambers has left behind more than just history. It has left behind restless spirits that many believe still linger today. Visitors who step into the dungeon often describe an overwhelming sense of dread, as if the air itself is heavy with sorrow. Reports of ghostly shadows moving through the stone walls, disembodied voices crying out, and sudden cold spots are common. Tour guides and paranormal investigators have heard chains rattling, even when no one is near, and footsteps echoing across the floors where no living person is walking. One of the most chilling stories involves the spirits of pirates who were once imprisoned there, some of whom were executed after their capture. Many claim to see ghostly figures in tattered clothing, staring before vanishing into darkness. Others speak of prisoners who moan in despair, their cries trapped in the dungeon forever. With its dark history of pain and death, the old Exchange and Provost dungeon stands not only as a historical landmark, but also as one of South Carolina's most haunted sites, where the past refuses to stay silent.